Welcome to day two of Unconventional. Today is by far my favorite day. I love doing the activation session and really sharing my story with you and sharing the wisdom that comes through in those moments that I just believe is so divinely guided for you. But these sessions, there's a recode that I'm going to take you through. This for me is where my soul just so comes alive, I should say, so aligned with this work. This is the work that has quite literally changed everything for me. Whether you've experienced a recode with me or not, let me just tell you, you are in for a really magical experience today. What you're going to experience is a superconscious rapid recode. We're going to really go into what comes up when we decide that we're going to lead an unconventional life. Because it's actually not, well, it gets to be as simple as we're going to lead an unconventional life and we choose that, right? But when we make that decision, a lot of things actually come up. This wasn't an easy decision for me to turn around and be like, you know what? I'm actually going to just throw everything that I've worked so hard for to some degree right out the window and pursue this entirely new path. A lot of things have come up for me along this journey, and it is because of the work that I'm going to share with you today that I have been able to really heal some deep wounds that I have had, and stories and limitations and just utter crap that actually comes up that is our subconscious mind, our body, right, trying to keep us where we are. Anything that we have not experienced or witnessed before feels unsafe to our subconscious mind. Anything. And so this is where most people start to sabotage their goals. It's so easy to sit and do a really beautiful goal setting exercise and create a vision board and decide that you want to make $1 million years and, have time with your family and work 10 hours a week and go on holidays every 2 months. That's so easy for most people to sit and to be dream and really visualize it all, right? But the actual process of bringing those things into your reality, that is where your subconscious mind is going to start to throw up red flags. Because if you haven't experienced it before, it feels dangerous to the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind just wants to keep you safe. Now, choosing to lead life in an unconventional way is going to bring up massive feelings of unsafety to your subconscious mind. Because in a way, playing into your intuition, into your personal power, into this magic that you have within you doesn't feel safe because it is unknown, because we have not led life that way, because we have not seen people live life that way, because we have not been taught or conditioned that that is how we actually are meant to lead our lives. And with that though, with leading life in this way, from personal power, from intuition, from magic, right? With leading life this way, it actually brings about a level of uncertainty. If there is one thing I know for sure, it is that when you start to tap into this, anything can feel so good right here. But it doesn't mean that you actually have all of the pieces to the thing that you are actually trying to bring to life. And what I mean by that is often you'll get the downloads, you'll get the pieces of wisdom, you'll get the pieces of inspiration. They'll come through and it'll be like, yes, this is what I'm doing. This feels so good for me. But you know that it's not the whole picture. You know that you haven't done it before. You know that something feels a little bit off with it because often it feels big. Often the things that come through to us feel so much bigger than if we sat and logically tried to play it all out. And in that comes uncertainty and unsafety. And what this requires is a really deep level of trust within yourself. I spoke about this yesterday. I really do believe that unwavering self-trust is the number one thing that you need to work on if you desire to lead your life in an unconventional way and receive things in a way that totally goes against logic. That's what we're playing in here. That's the realm that we're playing in. And it requires a level of self-trust, not self-belief, because your belief will waver because of the way that we're wired. Our brain is wired to keep us safe. which means that in any moments where it feels unsafe, it's really normal for your self-belief to waver. It's really normal to then go and experience levels of self-doubt. You will reach, it's like this upper limit. I think Gay Hendricks coined it the upper limit. Fear of success, some people call it. Fear of your own light, right? It's this almost too good to be true energy. And your brain hates it because our brain would actually rather live the painful, predictable past than the uncertainty of a future that is beyond our wildest dreams. And I want that to really soak in for you. Your brain is wired to actually prefer to live the painful, predictable past as opposed to living the future of your wildest dreams. And so naturally, when we start to lean into leading life in a different way, having new experiences, your brain is going to be going crazy, trying to pull you back, trying to keep you safe. And obviously we have all different tools and modalities available to us. The one that I'm going to guide you through today is my hands down favorite, the one that has changed my life, right? And so we can work on these belief systems and we can work on the nervous system and we can work through all of the stuff that our subconscious mind is throwing up at us. But the very first thing that we have to be able to lean into in those moments when you are in the thick of dealing with the trudge of your subconscious mind, when you are in the thick of that, you need to be able to anchor into trust within yourself, trust within your knowing, trust that the things have been given for you. You have been guided to those places. You have been guided to those experiences for a reason. And most people, this is where they waver, because they start to question and they start to doubt and they start to base their trust on their self on all of the ways that they feel like things haven't worked out in the past. But we touched on this yesterday, where we know that the past is actually perfect, that the journey was the journey, and even the times where we feel like we were off the road and we were out of alignment, that was also part of the journey, and so it's actually perfect. And so what if you leaned into that instead? Instead of thinking, well, you know, I tried to lead this way once before and it felt like everything went wrong, and now I just don't trust it when it comes up. And maybe this is not even a conscious story that you have. It's like a deep unconscious doubt that you have, rather than being able to anchor into the trust. And here is the thing when it comes down to all of it. The biggest thing that I see, and the biggest thing that I have had to navigate myself, is that when you start to lead your life this way, your business, the way you do health and wellness and look after your body, the way that you navigate things in your relationship, when you really start to go against the grain and do the unconventional things and trust your intuition and trust your inner magic and stand in your personal power, not only is there so much uncertainty, but it will really cause you to doubt your level of trust in yourself, because you have to be able to move without knowing what's going to come next. You have to be able to move without knowing what's coming next. And we're so used to being able to put all of our power in something outside of us. For the ladies in business, it's the strategy, it's the piece of content that went viral that then led to all of these sales, right? For people who met the one in the right place at the right time, the power was not in you being in perfect alignment, being in that place because that's where you desire and that's where you led. It's like, oh, it was just by magic. It just happened the right place at the right time. To people who talk about manifesting and the lucky girl syndrome, they're putting their power in the luck. They're putting their power in the luck, in the thing that's outside of them that isn't even a tangible thing that exists, right? They're like, oh, I'm just lucky, like things just happen to me, without taking on the power that, no, actually, I'm the person who creates the things that I desire to create in my life. And that is the kind of identity that I want you to be stepping into. Being the person who creates the things that you desire to create in your life. Being the dominant creator. Yes, life is a co-creation. Yes, things happen beyond our control. Yes, sometimes we are placed into circumstances that break my heart to even think that people have to go through them, right? Yes, there are things beyond our control. But you can also choose in any moment to be the most powerful, dominant creative force in your life. That means the power is within you to shift and change anything. That is where we're going. It is so easy to sit and look back at your journey and be like, oh yeah, I got everything I wanted, but it's because I did this and then I did this and then this happened and then this happened. But the actual truth is that you got everything you wanted, not because of all those things, but in spite of all those things, because you actually led from here, whether you were conscious to it or not. This is the biggest key, particularly in business for me, where I started to realize, hang on a minute, all of these people who are teaching like these magic blueprints and like business coaches who are like, no, this is how you build to your 10, 20, 50, 100K months, right? You do all of these things. This is how I did it. But the truth is, when you look back on their journey, they actually didn't necessarily do it that way. I've literally come across people who, or maybe they did do it that way for a little period of time, but they're no longer doing it that way. And they're now moving in a different way because what they're actually following is their intuitive, obvious next step, the thing that feels right for them, the thing that they feel called to do. And yet what they're teaching is something that they put together in hindsight, and they're looking outside of them. And you will see this in everything. People who talk about diet and wellness and nutrition, right? And even exercise, they're teaching their path. They're teaching what was right for their body. We actually know how to look after our body. And I remember learning this in my health coaching certification. Your body knows what it needs. It knows what it wants. It knows how to thrive. Your brain messes up the signal. It is your brain that overcomplicates everything. And this is something that I think is really important to touch on, because when it comes to personal development work, so much of the work is in the mind. So many people are focused on the limiting beliefs and the stories, right? And it's all on the mind. We're doing mindset work, right? People are mindset coaches. They do mindset work. They love mindset work. Everyone loves mindset work. But here's the thing. The mind is not the end of it, because things are stored in our body. Our body remembers. Our body remembers. And this is where you actually start to look at things. When you look from a holistic point of view, you see the intertwining circles of our mind, our body, and our soul. And each carry their own blueprint of what we're actually here for and how we're designed to lead our life, and what each of those parts of us need in order to thrive. And so if you're doing this work and you're on a healing journey, or you're on a personal development and evolution journey, right? And you're trying to grow and expand yourself to all of the things, but you're only focusing on one circle, on one piece to the puzzle, the reason that you keep coming up against yourself is because it's not a mindset thing, it's a body thing. It's not a body thing, it's a soul thing. It's not a mind or body thing. It's, like, we need to look at everything holistically. And this is why I love the superconscious recode, because we're actually working in each of those three circles. We're working from each of those levels. We're releasing things from our body. We're releasing the stories from our mind. We're releasing past timelines, past stories, past everything from our soul. It's really easy to talk about resistance from a point of the mind, right? And it's only recently that this has really even landed for me. Have you ever been on a journey to some goal or destination, right? And there's just part of you that's like, this is not how I want to do this. This is not how I want to lead. Whether it's in dating and you're on all these dating apps and you're swiping left and right and you're going on all these dates, and there's something within you that's like, this just doesn't feel good. This isn't what I want to do. But someone told you that you've got to go and put yourself out there. What you're experiencing is not a limitation. It's not your mind trying to keep you small. It's your soul saying no. It's your soul saying there is another way. And I have experienced this so many times in business where people have told me, well, you need to do this and you need to do that, and you've got to go live once a week, and you've got to post content from this particular archetype, and you've got to go and do all these collaborations and all this stuff. And in my heart, I was like, no. For me, it feels like there is something else. Now, I know that the question that you're thinking is, well, Jamie, how do I know the difference? How do I know the difference? And the truth is that only you can know. But this requires radical self-trust. This requires radical honesty with yourself and really being able to tap into, where am I feeling this? Where am I feeling this? Am I feeling this in my head? Am I feeling like my head is swirling with all of these things and being like, oh my gosh, like I've got this story coming up and this story coming up, and I'm overthinking this, and I feel like I'm going to let this person down, and if I move this way? That's all in the mind. That is ego resistance. That is resistance that we can actually shift through and that we can push through. But if you really sit and you're like, no, it's here. It's here. It feels like this just knowing that I'm meant to do things in a different way. It's here. That is soul resistance. That is your soul, the essence of you, saying, this is not how we're meant to do things. This is not how we are meant to lead. It is really difficult to overcome these things because we have spent an entire lifetime being ingrained into us that we need to follow a certain trajectory, that we need to follow certain patterns, that we need to do what we're told. We're literally wired to go outside of ourselves for answers from the time that we are small children all the way through our whole entire life. You think about it. When you're a tiny baby and a toddler and you're learning, you're looking to the adults around you. You're looking to the parents. You're looking to the grandparents, the aunties, the uncles, anyone who's older than you. You're looking for them to show you the way. When you go into school, you're looking for your teacher. Your teacher's teaching you how to be. You look to them for the answers. The same thing happens when you go into university. The same thing happens when you go into the workplace. There is always someone higher up than us, right? There is always someone perceived higher up than us that we're looking to for the answers. But here's something really interesting. When I actually look back, particularly to my son, and when he was born, and then his growth and his development and how he changed, I didn't play any role in that. I wasn't down on the ground teaching him how to roll over for the first time. I wasn't teaching him how to crawl. I didn't teach him how to walk. Sure, by me speaking to him, it helped develop his language, but I didn't really have to teach him how to speak. It all came naturally because this is the divinity of life. That there is a certain way that things actually unfold beyond our control. And that's the magic of the universe that we live in. That's the magic of our life. And yet at some stage, we stop realizing that we have that magic to just naturally do the things that we need to be able to do and that we want to be able to do. And then all of a sudden it becomes something that we have to learn and we have to go through and we have to develop. And I want to touch on this for a moment. I wasn't going to bring this in, but I think it's really important. When it comes to this whole journey of growth and evolution and personal development and stepping into your higher self and all of those things, there's a really big misconception that growth has to be uncomfortable. That growth is painful. And that everything that's worth anything is on the other side of that pain. And so when you think about it, when that's what's been ingrained onto us, is it any wonder that there are humans everywhere in so much pain, pushing through things that they actually don't need to push through, and feeling uncomfortable and feeling disgusting within themselves, but they've been told that growth is painful and that anything worth anything is on the other side of their comfort zone. And I just don't believe that this is true. Now, here's the nuance. Yes, There are absolutely periods that you will go through on your growth journey and on your journey of self-discovery, of self-love, of building your relationship to yourself and all the things, where it will feel uncomfortable, where it will feel heavy and it will feel hard to hold. And that's okay. That's okay. But what I do not believe is that in those moments, you have to push through. I believe that sometimes you actually just get to be in the void. And this is something I did really want to bring in because I have been deep in the void recently in massive transformation. And I'm going to share more on that a little bit later. But I've been in this period of massive, massive transformation, of really questioning my purpose, what is really fulfilling to me, and how I really want to lead my life, my business, experience things, right? To deepen my relationship, to do all of the things. And in that, I feel like I've been put into this place that people call the void. Now, if you're not familiar with the terminology, let me explain it to you. The void is basically this place where you really are like in the depths of it. You can feel the feelings and it feels very wishy-washy. People have referred to it as being in a tumble dryer. I'm like, sometimes it feels like I'm just like in this whirlpool and I just keep spinning and spinning and spinning. And every time I think the whirlpool is about to stop and I'm going to finally just get to like float for a little bit, I'm spinning again. And it just keeps going and going and going. And it can be very uncomfortable because there is a lot of uncertainty in this place. There is a lot of uncertainty in this place. You don't know the steps forward. And there are parts of you that will come up and be like, well, we know where we want to go, so why aren't we just taking the action to it? But then there's another part of you that's like, no, we're not taking action. We just need to be here for a little bit. We just need to allow ourselves to go through it. The nuance to this is that you need to simultaneously be able to be like, okay, I'm in the void and I'm going to allow it. And I trust that I will know when it is time for me to come out of this cocoon, right? Periods of deep, deep, deep transformation, evolution often come about from this place of the void. Or like they're part of being in the void. It's because things are really shifting inside of you. And I'm seeing this a lot online. I am seeing so many women deep in the void, but to a degree, they're trying to push through and they're trying to make it happen because that's how we've been conditioned to be, right? And it's like, oh, well, I'm so uncomfortable. I'm in the void. This feels really gross. I must be growing and evolving. So now I need to push through because this is where all of the magic happens. Yes, that is true. But also, you don't necessarily have to push through that. Sometimes those moments are literally there to allow you to just be. And if you didn't push against them, if you actually just surrendered to it and trusted that you would receive the right guidance, wisdom, ideas, inspiration, way to move forward in the right timing, and just simply allowed everything else to be, you would actually not end off so far off your path, right? Than we sometimes do. Because sometimes, and I've experienced this a lot, you'll get these ideas and you'll start to run with it because that's what we're told to do. But you're in the void. And so what you put out is like, it's only half of what it could have been. And if you had have just waited and allowed the rest of the things to come through, what would be on the other side is so much more powerful. The reason I wanted to bring the void in is because it feels like it is part of the journey of leading an unconventional life. I am yet to come across any woman that leads a life the way that I consider unconventional, the way that's really led with personal power and this magic and this intuition and connection to the universe and co-creation and everything. I am yet to come across a woman who leads her life that way, who has not had her experience within the void. And it can really shock you if you are not prepared for it, because I wasn't prepared. I didn't know that this was a thing. I've just like spent this whole journey growing and developing myself and leaning more into myself and leaning more into what I would consider I don't like saying my abilities because I'm actually like, we're actually all intuitive. We actually all have access to the same things that I tap into, to the same things that any spiritual mentor taps into. Like, we all have access. It's just how open to it we choose to be. That is a personal thing. That is an us thing, right? We can choose to be open to tap into anything that we desire at any time and to really develop that, right? But I've just like navigated this journey following my obvious next step, following what feels good to me, following my heart, without a lot of spiritual mentors around me to be like, yes, this is normal. Yes, this is perfectly fine. Like, you're in the right place. You just need to lean into that trust. And so what I really want to be for people is evidence of what's possible, but also the person that can be like, expect this. Like, expect it, be prepared for it. This is normal. This is part of the journey, and it's totally okay to experience these things. I see a lot of shame in this online space, particularly when it comes to spiritual growth and personal growth and the things that people go through. And I've literally seen people who are like, it's not normal to experience doubt. And while I agree that we should not normalize things in our life that we actually don't desire, because what I believe is that what you normalize, you actualize. And so I never want to normalize doubt for you and be like, oh, it's just part of the journey. Like, it's cool. It just means you're growing. It means you're coming up against new edges, and that's all perfect. I never want you to expect to doubt yourself or to have limiting beliefs or anything like that. What I want you to know is that if you're experiencing that, it's not uncommon, because it's actually the way that you are wired. And yes, that feels very convoluted and very much against each other, but that is where we play here. We play in the role of nuance, being able to see that everything is right and everything is wrong simultaneously. And when that can really land for you, it will skyrocket your ability to see things, and it will really shift your entire perspective on how you see life. Nothing is necessarily right and nothing is necessarily wrong, and both things coexist at the same time. You get to choose what you lean into as truth for you. And so the void is part of this journey. And being in the void is deeply uncomfortable. A lot of shit happens here, but it also gets to just be a magical part of the experience. And when you truly surrender, because here's the thing, what makes the void the most uncomfortable is that we resist being in the void. We resist just stepping back and doing nothing and just focusing on ourselves and not actually being out there doing all the things that we've been told and conditioned that we have to do. We resist being in the void, and that actually makes the void more uncomfortable than it needs to be. And the nuance to this is that it isn't always uncomfortable. That it doesn't always have to be uncomfortable. That you don't have to feel the deepest levels of discomfort in order to achieve the things that you desire, in order to receive the things that you desire. It doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to go through life having these periods of complete and utter dysregulation and feeling like your life is chaos and everything is falling apart. You do not have to do things that way. And what my work is here to show you is that you actually get to have it all and hold it all and feel incredibly grounded and regulated and just in the deepest levels of self-trust and self-love with yourself. It actually gets to be that way. And the reason I say have it all and hold it all is because the other thing that I see play out in life is that it's real great to like scroll through Instagram and to see people preaching you get to have everything you want. And of course, I believe that to be true. But sometimes when we move from a state of not being regulated, of just forcing and pushing and doing all of the things and putting the power outside of us in order to get everything that we want, in order to have it all, when we receive it all, we cannot hold it because it is heavy. And I want you to think about that. Have you ever had an experience where you finally received everything that you'd been working for. And then in that moment, you were like, this is a lot. And if I ever have to do that again, I don't think I can. I don't think that I could ever do that again because that nearly killed me. Because that felt so hard and it felt like I had to fight against myself and it felt like everything else in my life had to fall apart in order for me to get this one thing. It doesn't have to be that way because we focus on getting it all. We're always focused on the thing, right? The income goal, the relationship, the body of our dreams, right? Getting to that point, the pinnacle peak point. What we're not focused on is normalizing that in our life and it just being part of it. We're not focused on holding that as our new standard. And so because we focus so much on the moment, like you think about it, if you've ever done visualization activities, and whenever anyone says like, I want you to visualize like that next level life, you'll often go to the point of the thing happening, receiving the money, receiving the promotion, meeting the man. You'll go to the moment when what you need to go to is the way that it unfolds in your life. Is you living your life with all those things, just being part of it, being totally normalized. It's the same when people are like, you need to really feel it. In order to manifest, you have to be able to feel what would it feel like to have that thing, right? And again, you're transported to the moment. You're like, oh my God, if I just like woke up and received a check for $50,000, of course I'm going to be excited and this is going to happen and this is going to happen. It's going to feel like this. When I meet the man of my dreams, I'm just going to feel so in love and this is going to be amazing and I'm going to feel like this and I'm going to feel like this. When I finally get that promotion, I'm going to be so proud of myself. I'm going to be so excited and I'm going to say yes and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. It's always about the moment. It's what it feels like in the moment. But the truth is, that once you've normalized that thing in your life, it's not going to be exciting anymore. It's actually going to be grounded. It's going to feel normal. This is why I say what you normalize, you actualize. Sure, when you actually receive it, yes, you will feel excited. But holding it is different. Holding it is going to feel grounded and regulated and normal. This is why so many people reach these new amazing goals and then they can't find it. They can't hold it. You know, you see people who go on these incredible weight loss journeys and they completely transform their whole perspective of themselves and like transform their whole body and transform their whole life with it. And then they reach this point and they're like, oh my gosh, like I did it. I reached like the goal of whatever weight it was, right? And I mean, this is not the best example because there's actually a lot that we could go into in that and we could really deconstruct, like there's a lot of other reasons, but just bear with me for this example because it's a really easy way to explain it. But you know, you see these people who go on these journeys, they reach their goal weight, right? And everything seems amazing in their life. And then all of a sudden they can't hold it because the journey there was so hard and so heavy and everything else had to fall away in order for them to get there, that all of a sudden they start putting the weight back on. And before you know it, that incredible weight loss journey has gone down the toilet and that person is often back to where they started or more because they didn't train their body to be able to hold it. Because growth is uncomfortable and growth is painful, but it doesn't have to be. And the experience that I'm going to share with you today is really, really going to show you that we actually get to do really deep work with ourselves. We actually get to regulate our nervous system, to shift energy through our body, to let go of past stories and traumas and woundings and beliefs that just don't serve us into our next level. And it doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be painful, and it doesn't have to be this grueling journey where you're just coming up against yourself over and over and over and over. One of the things that I really, really, really stand tall and proud on, like the hill that I will die on, is that you don't have to wait until you're in the depths of the void of those painful moments of coming up against yourself before you start doing this work. Most people wait until they're in complete and utter pain and cannot move or do anything and feel like they're just a fragment of themselves before they start to decide, hang on a minute, I need to do something about this. I need to start looking at myself. I need to start building my relationship with myself. I need to start healing these woundings, releasing the shit from my body. They're in the deepest levels of pain because they've waited too long before they'll address it. And the funny thing is, right? The fucking ironic thing is, when you think about marketing, the number one term that has always stuck in my head from a marketing perspective is people don't want the preventative, they want the cure. They want the cure to their pain, right? That is another conditioned way of being. We have been conditioned to wait until we are in complete and utter pain and chaos before we will seek answers. And the online space, marketing in general, is actually reinforcing this way of being. Because most people in marketing, they're not selling you, whatever their thing is, when they're marketing it, they're not selling you the preventative. They're selling you the pill for your pain. And every time you buy because you're in pain, rather than choosing to buy from a place of power, to invest from a place of power, to start to work on yourself from a place of power, to start to choose to eat differently from a place of power, from a place of desire, to actually just like to follow here, right? Because you can actually tap into this at any time, in any moment, in relation to anything. If you're at a restaurant, right, and you're like, I don't know what I want to have for lunch, how about you actually tap into here instead of here? Because if you tap into here, your body will actually tell you that today you want the burger. Today we want the burger. Tomorrow we might want the salad. But if you make the decision from here, your brain's going to be like, well, I really want the burger, but I really think we should have the salad. Because the burger is going to be so many more calories and the salad is going to really nourish us, but we're really hungry and we don't think that, you know what I mean? This is what we do. We overcomplicate the shit out of everything because we're working from here, not here. Working from here, though, the whole point of this call, working from here sometimes brings up the deepest levels of resistance from your ego because we're going against everything that we have been taught we should do. Because we're going against not just the conditioning from our childhood and our families, we're going against conditioning from an industry that is quite literally predicted to become $1 billion industry if it's not there already. We're being conditioned every time we scroll social media. And we need to come back to here. But it's not easy. Because going against your conditioning can feel really hard, can feel really heavy. And it doesn't have to be that way. That's the nuance. Yes, it can be that way. No, it doesn't have to. We can choose in any moment to dive into work like this, to re-regulate our nervous system, to realign our energy, to release the stories that are actually keeping us stuck in these conditioned ways of being. And this for me has been the biggest time collapse in my journey of personal power, of tapping into my intuition. Because being able to do this work, having access to this work has meant that for the most part, I don't get stuck anywhere too fast or for too long. I don't feel like everything is a grueling journey. Yes, I have moments like recently where it does feel painful and it does feel uncomfortable. And I use this work to support me through those moments. But for the most part, it is not like that. I get to shift through things really quickly. My brain doesn't take me off course anymore because I have access to this. And so I want to share it with you today. I want to share this work with you because this is what I'm here to do. Not just be the expander to show you what's possible, but also give you the tools to make it possible for you. And on the other side of this, I'm going to share with you where my business is actually going, because through this huge transformation period, a lot of things have come online for me. No, I have nothing to sell you. I literally have nothing to sell you. But I want to share with you where my business is going and what's next for me. And I want you to consider it an invitation to join me along the journey if you feel like diving deeper into this work and being really immersed in it further. But all of that after, I'm really excited to take you through a superconscious recode. Couple of things you need to know about this. Number one is this is an energetic process. I'm connecting to you energetically, to the part of you that is known as your superconscious. A lot of people don't talk about this. They talk about the conscious mind, which is everything we're consciously aware of. They talk about the subconscious mind, which is our autopilot, where all of our beliefs and our conditioning and everything is. But what they don't talk about is the superconscious. Your superconscious is more you than anything. It is your connection to everything in this world, in this universe. It is your connection to the quantum field. It's your connection to your soul. It is your connection to past lives, to other timelines, to other dimensions, if you will. It is your intuition. It is your highest self. It is an energetic field that is around you that I can connect to with your permission. I cannot just walk around and connect to people's superconscious and do crazy things. I do not do that. You have to give me permission. I'm connecting energetically to you. The coolest thing about this is I am just a guide in this process, which I love, because if you're into human design, I'm a projector, which means I am a guide, quite literally. And so I don't take responsibility for this work because I'm a guide. I'm guiding your energy, your mind, your superconscious to where it should look for these pieces of heaviness, of wounding, of conditioning, of blocked energy. And I'm guiding it where to go in order to release. I'm just the guide. You are in control. This is you in your most deepest essence of power. You're actually doing the work. And you can actually learn how to do this with yourself. That might be something that one day in the future I'll start to share with people. But for now, my role as the guide is to support you through this process. So that's the most important thing you need to know. It is very light. Everyone's experience is very different. I will give you a visualization that you can go into if you feel like you like to have something that you can kind of hold on to and something that's a bit tangible. It doesn't feel like work that you've probably done in the past. I am at no point going to ask you to go back and to relive any uncomfortable, painful moments. We do not need to really relive traumatic experiences in order to heal from them. We just do not. And in fact, it can be incredibly dangerous to do things like that. I do not suggest ever going back and revisiting past events that have happened for you in your mind without at least being supported by an incredibly renowned practitioner. And in the essence of the work that I do, we just don't need to. We just don't need to. You may hear me speak, you may not hear me speak. Sometimes I say the words so that your conscious mind can be like, okay, she's still there, she's still doing stuff. Because it's very easy to get caught up in being like, I don't know what's going on, and I'm shutting off and the wall gets built up, right? This does require your conscious mind to be on board. I think that is everything that I wanted to share about the actual process. If anything else comes up before we really get into it, I will share that. The visualization is very simple. It's also a beautiful metaphor for what is about to go down. So what you can go into very soon is visualizing this beautiful big grassy field. And that grassy field is like your subconscious mind and your body, right? And what's going to happen is these gophers are going to pop out. You know, like those little animal gophers. It's real weird because we don't even have them here in Australia. But they're going to pop out and they're going to run away. And what that is the energy blocks, the woundings, the trauma, the conditioning, the beliefs, like all of the things that are playing into you feeling like shit, you not trusting yourself, you not being in your power, right? We're getting rid of that. They're running away. And then a feather is going to come and smooth the earth back over. That is the rewiring process. We're literally rewiring your brain in this process. We're allowing the energy to be released from your body, and we're like really deepening that connection, the mind, body, soul connection. We're bringing that back into line. So that's all you need to do. What we will start with though is a couple of just like real thoughts about how you're feeling at the moment with everything that we've discussed, whether you can reflect on moments where you have felt like you were in those really deep, uncomfortable moments and you made a decision based off the fear and the pain instead. So I want you to just really take a few moments to like reflect on anything that's come up for you, to reflect on any past experiences, times that you can remember these like moments of discomfort really playing out. And really thinking into what it looks like for you to lead an unconventional life. And actually, I want you to close your eyes. Let's do this. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to just imagine what it looks like for you to lead an unconventional life. A life where you are navigating everything from a place of personal power. Like, really imagine yourself in your power. How does that feel? What does that look like? Really imagining it. See yourself leading from intuition, leading from this inner knowing and this inner trust that everything that is coming to you is divine and it's perfect. Really seeing it all play out. Noticing what it looks like, noticing how you lead yourself, noticing how you actually get to hold everything. You get to have the relationship, the family time, the really good health. You're moving your body, you have the career, the business, whatever. You have all of the things that you desire. And I want you to feel really regulated in that. Now, what I want you to do is just imagine that you're looking back now. So you're in that place and you're looking back at you here across from me, watching this in this session. And just reflect on, compared to this amazing life, compared to being in my power, leading unconventionally, receiving completely illogically, where am I now? And you can open your eyes and write this out or just reflect on it in your mind. Where are you now in relation to that? And anything else that's come up, any moments of discomfort in that experience, noticing where you can feel it in your body. The more that we can get out here, the better. And so I'm going to just intuitively choose when to kind of cut off the time. But if you are watching the recording and you need more time, just pause it and really go deep on this. The more that we can get out, the more that we can reflect on, the more stories that we notice, the more powerful it really is, because we're bringing conscious awareness to that. We're shining the light on it right. All right. Now what I want you to do is just imagine that you have this box in front of you, and you're going to start to like pick up all these things, all these stories, all of these beliefs, the ways in which you are not leading this way. You're going to put it all into this box, all of it, everything that's come up over the past 24 hours of being in this experience, of being activated, of me sharing my story, anything that's come up for you that you're ready to release, I want you to put in this box. And literally see yourself putting it all in. Like, imagine it. I've got this box in front of me and I'm putting all these things in. Putting the feelings, the emotions, the thoughts, the beliefs, the stories, the experiences, all of it in the box. And put the lid on the box. Now I want you to pick the box up and just imagine that you're feeling the box, the weight of the box beneath your fingers, so your hands, your palms. And on a scale of 0 being this box is light as a box of feathers, and 10 being this box feels like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, I want you to give me a number, and it's that one, the very first one that pops into your mind. This number doesn't actually mean anything. It's literally just a way to measure the resistance, to measure the weight of everything that you're carrying. And it will help at the end for your conscious mind to see that a shift has happened, because this number is not going to be the same on the other end of what we're about to do. So we're about to go into the recode. You may hear me, you may not. I know that I've said that. I will ask for permission to connect to your superconscious. You don't need to do anything. You actually just to get to be here and be in the experience and just like really choose right now in this moment to play full out and to get the most out of this, and choose that you are ready to release all of the shit, all of the heaviness, all of the things that are stopping you from living in your deepest level of personal power, leading yourself from this place of deep trust and deep knowing. Choosing right now that that is what we're going to get out of this session. I'm so excited to be able to lead you through this. I'm just going to readjust and get a little bit more comfortable. Sometimes these sessions take 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It really just depends on how much kind of comes up. I use muscle testing. So it's just like kinesiology to receive information from superconscious, from the quantum field, if you will. We're really working from the quantum field in this. This is the easiest way to explain it. We're working from the quantum field to release the stories, the trauma, the woundings, the conditioning, all of the things, including past life stuff and other timeline things, right? And release all of that to have you just in this moment of pure power and divinity. It's really magic. So when you're ready, I'll get you to close your eyes. Don't go into the visualization yet. I'm going to guide you through a quick little grounding process. Then I will say, do you give me permission to connect to your superconscious? You say yes, whether that be out loud, in your head, nod your head, like whatever, it doesn't matter. Just give me permission. And after you've given permission, you can go into the visualization of the grassy field. Allow your mind to take you wherever it wants to, though, because in these experiences, sometimes people have the most profound breakthroughs. They go on the most incredible journeys in their own mind. They have downloads, pieces of wisdom drop in, ideas, inspiration. Like it really gets to be a cool experience if you're open up to it. So when you're ready, I'll get you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And on this last one, I want it to be like a really big deep breath in through the nose and then make a lot of noise out on the exhale. So in through the nose and out through the breath, out through the mouth. And just see this beautiful ball of gold and white light just circling above you. It's all sparkly and beautiful. And it's just going to wash over you, over your head, over your shoulders, down over your body, and just feel it grounding you into this moment. Feel the chair beneath you or the bed, whatever's supporting you, and just bring your mind to this moment. And when you're ready, all I ask is that you give me permission to connect to your superconscious. Thank you. Superconscious, are you there? Are all parts on board and desiring treatment? Superconscious, please bring forward all part personalities. Let's let them know the benefits to treatment and ask them to join the treatment team. Bring forth the inner child, the perfectionist, the protector controller. People pleaser, the good girl. Yeah. You are safe. Your wisdom will not be lost. We need you to join the main treatment team for less pain, more satisfaction, and mono personality works best. We all need to be on board. What do you need to know? You are safe. Superconscious, please notice all of these activated heart personalities at this point, particularly the inner child, the protector controller, and the good girl archetype. Let's do a massive change history in all that is needed, releasing these stories, limitations, woundings, and conditioning from these parts and having them join the main personality. Thank you. Superconscious, please scan all beliefs around things being painful, uncomfortable, that there is beauty in the discomfort, any stories around all of that, all of it. Conditioning from the personal development industry, any story that takes us out of our personal power, bring it forth. Yeah. Do a massive change history in all that is needed. I'm going to scan our ancestral lines now, starting with the maternal line, looking for the original generation that these began in. Yeah, it's all of them. Starting one by one, let's release, do a massive change history and all that is needed. Let's just sit here for a minute, clearing each generation. Scanning the fraternal side now. Again, each generation, do a massive change history and all that is needed. All right, let's scan the chakras, body systems, and anything in relation to stress, starting from the crown and the third eye down there. Just breathe out, releasing the stagnant, blocked energy, releasing the woundings and the conditioning, opening that third eye, opening the channel, opening the wisdom, the gates to receive guidance, dropping down into the throat. And into the heart. Yeah. Pushing this. Down into the sacral and the stomach. Releasing these knots, releasing these ties. Yeah. Cord cutting. And into the womb. Down into the womb, releasing that blocked stagnant energy, opening that up. Yes. Which wound? Yeah. Let's clear that. Do a massive change history and all that is needed. Back to the heart and the throat. Feeling this energy be released. All right. Let's scan past timelines, past lives, looking for the original event. Again, there's a few. Okay, bringing forth each timeline where personal power was just not. Yeah. That's the one. Do a massive change history and all that is needed. Let's just sit here releasing this one. Again, scanning the chakras, releasing the ties, cutting the cords, releasing these lives. Let's scan timelines, past, present, and future, alternate timelines, other realities. Yes. Do a massive change history and all that is needed. Scanning all emotions, thoughts, feelings, beliefs. Pain, power. Do a massive change history and all that is needed. Do a final scan, noticing any other places where there's resistance, bringing up those archetypes again: protector, controller, perfectionist, good girl, inner child. Any other parts that are playing into this? Do a massive change history and all that is needed. Do one final scan of the chakras, the body systems, anything in relation to stress. Let's anchor in these new beliefs. So we want to anchor in: I am powerful. I deeply love and trust myself. When I lead with this knowing, everything changes. I can not only have it all, but hold it all as well. This gets to be easy. This gets to be easy. This gets to be easy. Doing one final scan: beliefs, past lives, timelines. Sitting here for a moment at the heart again. Releasing those ties. Where are we tying our worth? Looking at where we're tying our worth to things outside of us. That's the one. Opening the throat. Opening the third eye. Clearing the channel. Clearing the energy systems. Realigning. Go back to the womb. Releasing. Back. Let's release those ties. Release those cords. Releasing everything from any place, person, experience that is not in our highest good, in our highest timeline. Stepping into our highest timeline. Stepping into our power. Stepping into our infinite wisdom. And we're done. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, coming back as fast or as slowly as you feel called. That is my neighbor mowing their lawn. If you have been able to hear that, it's incredibly distracting and frustrating, but we cleared a lot. My brain is actually swirling at the moment. So, of course, we had our good girl archetype, which I actually wanted to talk about earlier, but I think it's perfect that we didn't because she came up anyway. So we all have this good girl archetype, the part of us that just wants to comply, wants to people please, wants to do what is expected because that is what makes us a good girl, right? So she came up. Now we have these different parts of us that actually hold a lot of stories and a lot of conditioning. And so we actually get to release this stuff from those parts of us, and it's incredibly powerful when we do that. The inner child came up, our protector, controller, and our perfectionist, which I did find was very interesting. And I think it's because when it comes to playing in this realm, there's just no room for perfection. Perfection is actually just a distraction anyway to the greater fear of I'm actually scared of what if I step into my power and everything actually happens. We are more afraid of our light than anything else. We have done a lot of chakra work, a lot. We have cleared our channel. We have opened our third eye. We've opened our throat and our heart and released a lot of cords. I felt a lot of cords across my back. Don't always get like such visceral feelings like this, but this was very intense. My whole back felt like it had all of these cords and all of these ties from past people, places, experiences, and things that are just actually not serving us in our highest timeline. And that's where we want to be, in our place of personal power and leading with intuition. Some past life stuff came up. There was a lot of stuff in the maternal generations. So lots and lots and lots of different layers of the generations of women in your family. So we've cleared a lot. What I want you to do now is just imagine that you've got that box again, the box that we had initially. You can close your eyes and just pick that up. And just again, feeling the weight of that box beneath your hands. 0 being it feels like as light as a box of feathers. 10 being it feels like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, and it's the very first number that already popped into your head. I want you to take note of that. Notice the difference, notice the shift. Please, 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 if you're watching the replay, share with me in the Telegram the shift that you had. I love, 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 love seeing the incredible shifts that people have from these sessions, and also anything else that you kind of experience, because everyone's experience of this work is different. The craziest things happen in these sessions, and it's just honestly so magic, and I love hearing your stories. So let's continue that conversation over in our Telegram group so we can really dive deeper and we can decode anything else that came up. There are two things I want to finish on. Number one is your obvious next step. You are going to practice tapping into your intuition and getting what I call your obvious next step. Now, the reason that we do this is, I mean, it's obviously so aligned with everything that we've been talking about, but also this is a normal part of every single one of my sessions, because here is the thing. We can do all of this work, but we need to go and ground it in action. And the greatest thing that you can do for your subconscious mind is to actually start to take action on the things that come through to you, to prove to your subconscious mind that you're actually totally safe in all of these moments, in all of this wisdom, in everything that comes through to you. And then the second thing I'm going to share is just a little bit of a story behind where I'm going, what's going on for me. And it won't be anything that's going to be too mind-bending for you, because, you know, really, I'm sure that you're just like in the feels at the moment. So let's do quick closed eye process. I'm going to show you how to tap into your intuition to receive your obvious next step for you to then go and do. You need to schedule this. You need to go and do it. You need to ground this work in the action piece, right? So I want you to close your wait, before we do that, sometimes the action piece, and I heard this as soon as I said action piece, because I was like, we don't always have to do stuff in order to receive. And this is a really big code for some people. We do not always have to do something in order to receive. We actually need to completely detach the two. We need to detach our doing from our receiving, because thinking that you have to do something in order to receive is actually just conditioning, right? So we're detaching what we need to do and what we need to receive. In saying that, when you tap into your intuition, when you get this obvious next step, it can be a masculine thing that is something that you actually have to go and do. So you might be given a very specific action step, something that you need to go and do, and that's perfect for you. Sometimes what you'll get is a more feminine energy step. So it's something that you just need to be, or just keep going, or, you know, it can be anything, and it can be very frustrating when you get a feminine led one, because we're so conditioned to want to just go and do, right? But for the longest time when I did this, I was always getting like the obvious next step always was just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Like you're on the right path, and it's actually a beautiful confirmation. So whatever comes through is perfect for you. It might be a very specific thing. It could be a word. It could be an image or like a visualization. This really depends on how you receive from your intuition. And we can develop all the different ones, but the truth is it doesn't matter. When the universe and superconscious, like converses with us and sends messages to us, it's in all different ways. Sometimes it's a metaphor, sometimes it's a symbol, sometimes it's just a letter. Whatever comes through for you is absolutely perfect. And if you need help decoding, again, this is what the Telegram is for, so we can really deepen this work. So bring that in to the Telegram chat. If you are not in the Telegram, I will link it below. You need to join. That's where we're going to really deepen all of this work, but we can decode it together over in there. I can support you with that. So when you are ready, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to just see yourself again in that first visualization we did, where you're in your personal power. Like you're leading your life from the deepest level of trust and power and just wisdom, and you're just going with it. And I can just see you, like you're just leading yourself, and you just know that with each step, the things just unfold. And it's crazy. It's almost as if like magic, but it's like, it is magic, but it's also you, because this is how you get to be, right? So I want you to really see that play out. Really see it and really feel into it. Feel into the ease that actually comes from leading your life this way. And I want you to really dial that up. Dial up the feelings. I can feel that we're playing at like a 3 at this point, and I want you to be at a 10. So we're going to really dial it up, like really feeling that power. And what I want you to really anchor into is this feeling of personal power and trust. Whatever that feels like for you, that's what I want you to really be anchoring into right here. So now we're going to dial it up. I want you to dial that up to a 4, now a 5, now a 6. And you feel like you can't take this any further, but you actually can. I can feel it. So I want you to dial it up a little bit more to a 7, to an 8, to a 9. And by now it should feel like it's like vibrating through your body. And then we're dialing it up to a 10. I want you to squeeze your wrist. At that 10, breathe it in. And now ask yourself, looking back to where you are now, to how things have been playing out in your life, literally ask yourself, what is the obvious next step? What is the next thing I need to do to bring myself one step closer to feeling like this every single day? And that is the thing. That first thing, do not let your brain overcomplicate it. If you get 3 things, it's the first one. And whatever that is, you're going to go and share it in the Telegram so that we can support each other. And you need to go and do that thing, be the thing, whatever it is that's come through for you. This is how we now ground this work and really, really anchor it in. I have loved this experience. And we are just getting started because we're going to continue all of this over in Telegram. And I'm so excited for what is going to come up over in there, because I know that it's just going to be absolutely magic. And I'm so excited to just watch you unfold over this next week and like really lead and navigate everything from this place, because that's what we're actually going to be really putting into practice now, is really leading from this place of power and doing things completely unconventionally, tapping into our intuition, opening up that channel and receiving the wisdom and the guidance to move forward. And what I want to finish with today is a really beautiful story of how this has actually unfolded for me recently in the depths of my void period, in the depths of my really surrendering to the discomfort of not actually doing anything. And what has flowed through has actually been an entire new business concept. And I haven't actually shared this anywhere. So you're getting the inside scoop, and I can again like continue this conversation further in Telegram. I'm not about to sell you something. I do not have anything to sell. What I am doing at the moment is completely shifting the way that I do business. And so for the past 5 years, I have been pivoting and shifting and changing, and my whole journey has played out on my Jamie Lee White Instagram. And the funny story with that is that it was my name originally, and then I converted it to a brand name. I think it was White House Wellness Co. Holy moly, that's like bringing back the memes. That was when I first became a health coach and I started dabbling in this online industry. And then I converted it back to my name, Jamie Lee White. And I've built from there just under my name, really embodying and owning that part of me being like my business being an extension of me. And it felt really right. But over the past couple of years, I've had so many moments of disconnection from it. So many moments where I was like, it just doesn't feel right for this to be my name anymore. But nothing else was coming through, and I dabbled with other things. And then I was like, it's not necessarily the name, it's the account. And I feel like it's time for me to start fresh. It feels like I need to wipe the slate clean. And if you've been following me for a little while, you'll actually know that I've done this multiple times. So I was working with a mentor who was like, I don't think that you need to actually start a whole new Instagram, because that is what I was thinking that I should do. She's like, I think you should just clean it up, like get rid of everything that no longer feels like you and is no longer in alignment, clean it all up, and then that will feel like the fresh start that you're looking for. And I was like, yeah, okay, that feels really good. I'm going to do that. But still, all the while, I had this feeling on my heart. And this is one of those moments where I was leading with my head over my heart and ignoring the things that were coming through to me. And I realized that it was out of lack and scarcity, because what my fear was that I'd spent all this time building this account and I'd made so many amazing connections through that account. that if I then went and started again somewhere else, I wouldn't have those people, those connections, right? So I'm like looking at a follow account basically. The power is outside of me because I'm too busy worried about whether followers will like come over to my new account or not. None of that actually matters, I realize. And so I played in this energy for a really long time of just like re-cleaning up my account. And I've done it so many times. I have reset my account so many times. And again, just this year, where I was like, wipe the slate clean and start again. This doesn't feel right. And then it hit me. It's because all of that was coming from the mind, from lack and from scarcity. When I really tapped into here, what I was feeling called to do was simply to start a new Instagram. Like, does it have to be a big deal? No, it actually doesn't. And when I was really feeling into that energy, the words that kept coming through to me were, your business is bigger than you. This is bigger than you. This is bigger than you, over and over and over again. And I was like, yeah, this isn't meant to be my name. Like my personal account, the Jamie Lee White, it is going to become something else. It's going to become the behind the scenes, the essence of me sharing my journey of evolution as like a diary, right? In a really raw and honest way, because for the longest time on the internet, all I have craved is for people to actually be really raw and honest about their journey and about the things that they were facing. And I recognize that I used to do that and I stopped doing it somewhere along the line because then all of a sudden it became about my business and it was all too much to hold in one space. And so Jamie Lee White is not going anywhere. That will become more of a personal space, a place where I can just share my journey of evolution and speak really raw and really honest about the things that I'm navigating. What I'm launching on the side of that is called House of Frequency. And like I get goosebumps when I just think about what this is going to become. House of Frequency is going to be the ultimate space of personal development, of personal growth, of personal evolution, and of building your relationship with yourself. Like, think the whole self-love mindset, manifestation, like all of those beautiful, fluffy subjects, but on the deepest, most embodied level. Right? We're not just playing with the mind, we're integrating the mind, the body, and the soul. We're touching on each of those places. This is a space for women who are leading themselves and are choosing to lead an unconventional and illogical life, whatever that looks like for them. Whether it is a woman in business, a woman crushing it in her career, a mother who is just leading the fuck out of her life as a mom, it doesn't matter. This is a space for the woman behind the scenes. Because as the feminine authority, as the feminine leader, which you are when you choose to lead your life this way, you need support. You need the regulation. You need to release the shit that's holding you back. I say that loosely because there's nuance with that again. I actually don't believe that you need to do any of this in order to have everything you want because you're perfect as you are. What I believe is that doing this work, and this is why I say you need it, is because this work allows you to collapse time on that journey. It allows you to speed up the rate at which you will receive the things that you want, but you want to be doing that from a grounded and embodied place. There is enough shit on the internet that is all like, oh, mindset and manifestation, and none of it is embodied. None of it is embodied because it's all working from up here, and I do not want to play in that realm anymore. So House of Frequency is about that. It is going to become something just so beautiful and so perfect. I already have an idea of what it's going to look like. It's going to be very much centered around experiences like we've just had, around doing the recodes, the reprogramming. We're going to talk about money, about health, about wellness, about relationships, about sexual experiences. It is about you as a holistic fucking woman leading her life in an unconventional way and releasing everything that is not that. And I am so excited to just bring this to life, knowing that it's going to become something so huge. Like, again, it's like, it's bigger than me. It's so much bigger than me. And the words of Melanie Ann Layer keep coming through my head with this as well. She's like, for me, for you, for us. I've done this work for me. But as I did this work for me, I can look back and see through the whole journey now, all of the things that I've been through, every little pivot in my business, everything that I learned, everything that I experienced was for me to grow and develop and for my own evolution, but it was also for you. And in that, it's for us as a whole collective. Because what I get to share with you now is everything across that whole journey. And I know that in business, people say you should not try and be everything to everyone, but this is bigger than me. This is bigger than me. This is everything about you, leading your life as a woman in her deepest level of feminine frequency, going out there, doing the things she wants to do, receiving in all the ways she wants to receive, and holding it all, feeling grounded and embodied. I want to call this like it's like big woman energy, right? It's like powerful woman energy manifesting quantum leaping, as opposed to like the manic little girl energy of like I need to do all these things and like work on my mindset. We're not into that. This is like deep fucking embodiment, powerful fucking work. And I'm so excited to be bringing it to life. I'm so excited to be the person that births this. And it's a journey for you as well. So come and join me over on that Instagram. I've literally posted nothing there yet, but if this is the work that you want to experience more of, that is going to be the space where I really dive into everything that we've covered here on an even deeper level. And then there is actually a third part to where my business is going. And I'm like, I've really had to sit with all of this. I really had to sit with all of this because there is part of me that actually feels like this is a lot and it feels a little bit overkill. But I'm trusting. I'm very, very, very much trusting that I can already see it unfolding perfectly, but that it's going to continue that way. So the third part of my business, or my overarching, like my whole where we're going from here, is called High Frequency Rising. This is going to start with local events, personal development, mindset, healing, connection, wellness, like again, all for the woman. But we're adding that in-person element where we can actually be in a room together and we can go through this stuff. You can meet other women who are into the same thing. This will expand into a retreat. And I can't even believe I'm saying this, the podcast is coming back. The podcast is coming back in a whole new level. I actually shut my podcast down at the end of last year because it no longer felt aligned. And I was like, it's because I was always meant to be on YouTube. And like, that's perfect. But now I realize like it was just that whole chapter of that particular podcast needed to be closed, and I needed to create the space in my life for all of these things to unfold. And so that is what I've very much done. And so the podcast will be returning under the brand Her Frequency Rising. And so it'll be very much in alignment with the events and the retreats. Like, think about this. Think about having a podcast that is like going to a personal development event or a fucking retreat for your mind, body, and soul. That is what I am creating. And I'm so excited to bring it all to life. When I embarked upon this year, at the end of last year, I was like, 2024 is feeling big for me. It's feeling like it's going to be the year that I quantum leap. And that's what I'm going to make it. I'm going to set out on an experiment to trust everything that comes through to me and to do the things, to just do the thing. To do the thing even when it doesn't look like the thing is even working. To do the thing even when the thing doesn't actually make sense to do the thing. I'm just going to trust. I'm just going to keep doing it. One obvious step after the next, after the next, after the next. And this is where we have gotten to. Now, when I tell you that I certainly did not expect my quantum leap year, the year that I plan on talking about forever, the year that will be the biggest part of my story, right? The thing that I become known for, I did not expect it to unfold this way. And so this is a deep lesson for you that I really want to share, like deep, deep, deep codes that is important for you to anchor into. when you make declarations like that, when you make the declaration that you have had enough and you are ready for a change, and that you are ready for the quantum leap, the thing that is going to be the ultimate pivot of your life, you have to release your attachment to what that is going to look like. You have to release your attachment to every part of that. And all you get to focus on is number one, you, your frequency, your regulation, your alignment. Like you are the common denominator. You are the power. You are the wisdom. You are the channel. You are the most important asset in your whole entire fucking life. You. So this is about choosing yourself, putting yourself first, and spending that time on yourself. You have to do that. And then number two is just simply doing the things even when they don't make sense. Knowing that there is something at play that's actually bigger than you. It's a co-creation, remember. You can be powerful, you can be the dominant creative force, but there is still a magic in the universe that is outside of you, but also is kind of you, because when you think about it, like, we are also the universe experiencing ourselves. And so the power is all you, but it feels like the power is outside of you because sometimes the things that come through do feel out of your control, but you need to anchor into these are divine. At no point when I set my intentions at the end of last year did I expect that I would be completely transforming everything, birthing two completely new places, roads. I don't even know. The words are gone. But two completely new like brands under my name, entire business concepts of themselves. I just thought I'd be building off where I already was. And in a way I am, but it just does not look anything like I thought it would. But it's exciting. And so not only do you have to find magic in the mundane, but you need to find magic in the uncertainty. And you need to be able to anchor into that deep trust within yourself. I am so excited for what is to come. Thank you for joining me in this 2-part live series. I cannot wait to deepen all of this with you in Telegram. I will be an open book for you. So if there is any part of my journey that you want me to go deeper on, I am so willing to share that with you. Let's do this.